how to stop getting angry, learning about self-control, how to control yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, your actions. The more you can control yourself, the more your life is enjoyable. Bit of something worth living, something that you don't need to be anxious about every moment what's going to happen next, when you're going to have an outburst, when you're going to get angry again and have this need to empty it all out on whoever is around or whatever is around. Oh, anger. Why are you angry? If you get angry often, why do you get angry so often? Why do you get angry anyway? In any case, why people get angry? You know how you sort of feel like a tension is sort of growing up inside your body, growing, and then it comes to the point where it's just about going to explode, and then you just offload it. Just offload it. You offload it on whatever is around you, whoever is around you, regardless. And later on, very often, you sort of regret that you acted like that, or you sort of, look for excuses to say, oh, I acted like that because. There is always, there are always excuses, there's, you can find them always, everywhere, at any time, no problem with that, is there. But, some people even say anger is good. Is anger good? I mean, honestly, never heard such a nonsense in my life, to have this tension being built inside you all the time, and then you feeling like you're going to explode, and then you have to offload it just to sort of free yourself of that tension. And then after you do it, you feel remorse, and then again you repeat the cycle, because this tension is being building again, and it's a cycle that never ends. And then there are obviously people on the other side of it who this gets offloaded on, so anger is not good, not good. So how to stop getting angry? I'm going to tell you one thing that might actually surprise you or even shock you. Angry people see themselves as victims. They were a victim when they were children, and they developed this idea about themselves as victims. They were put in situations where they had to suffer maybe verbal abuse, maybe physical abuse, all sorts of abuse, and there was nothing they could do about it, and they created this idea in their head of them being a victim, always being a victim. And then they grew up, they became adults, and they still carried on, and they still carry to this day this idea of being a victim. And just the scope then sort of broadens up. They're not just a victim of, whoever it was in the childhood, maybe the father, the mother, whatever teachers, whoever it was, they were bullied, whatever it was. And later on, that extends to everything else. They're a victim in this society. They're a victim from this government who always does the wrong thing. They're a victim of the partner who is just tries to use them, who are not sensitive enough, who do not do the right thing. They're a victim of the children who never do what they are told to. They're a victim of the boss who just doesn't understand how good they are and how valuable they are to the company, and so on and so on and so on. It goes on. It never stops. It is a cycle that never stops. And the tension just builds and builds and builds. Why is it always me? It's always me. I always, somehow I get settled with all these stupid people who do the wrong things in this horrible world where everybody, people don't think enough. They just do stupid things. They're careless. They sort of don't pay attention. They just no good. And I'm just a victim of all that, and there is nothing I can do about it. So the tension just grows and grows and grows. And it just then explodes. You just vent it. It just explodes whenever, wherever, whoever happens to be around, whatever happens to be around, it doesn't matter. And so it goes on and on and on. look, there is no joy in that. There is no enjoyment in that. There is no peace of mind in that. There is just a cycle of venting anger and then remorse, and then it goes again. Look, it's all in your head. This show you're applying, these ideas you have that sort of affect the way you feel and then affect the way you act. It all starts here in your ideas about yourself and your ideas of being a victim. You were a victim when you were a child, okay? Those things happened in the past. And once you became adult, and once your capabilities developed enough to live a life as an adult, your life is your responsibility. How you handle your emotions, what you think in your head is your responsibility. And what you think is really just the way you see the world, just the way you see what happened, what happens, what's going on. It's just a fiction, okay? It's a fiction. And that fiction can be changed. That fiction can be changed in a way that benefits you so it doesn't hurt you. So this idea of you being always a victim and still a victim even though you're an adult, and still a victim even though you abuse other people by these angry outbursts and so on, this is an idea, this is fiction that needs to be changed. You need to take responsibility for your life and realize that after all, hello, here we are, adults, responsible people, responsible for our lives and everything else around us to a certain extent, but for ourselves, your idea of being a victim is a fiction. Your idea of being a victim was arose in the past when you were a victim as a child, but afterwards it just kept staying with you. You're perpetuating it in your mind. All the circumstances have changed, and although you're not a victim anymore, you still see yourself a victim. And you have all these tensions and sort of anger and rage, and because why am I always a victim? Why is it that this is just a situation that I can't do anything about? It's horrible, isn't it? It's such a tension, you say. You're not a victim. Whatever happened in the past is over. You have to deal with it. You have to process those memories, and you have to wake up and say, okay, I'm not a victim anymore. I'm responsible for my life. I'm responsible for my thoughts. And my thoughts influence the way I feel, so-called emotions, and then the way I feel and the way I think that influences what I do. And if what I do is not right, I have to obviously correct it. And it all starts here. It all starts in doing corrections in your head, correcting your thoughts. The reason why you're angry, why you may be angry a lot, why you get angry easily is because of this fiction in your head that you are a victim, that you are still a victim, that you're a victim of just about everybody and everything. And once you wake up to this realization that this is just a fiction, that you can look around with a different attitude, with a different eyes, with a different perception, and see that if there is any victimhood, it's just a victimhood of your ignorance, of your fiction in your head, of your ignorance that there is a way that you can change it, that there is a way to learn how to control yourself, that there is a thing called self-control, and that your life, once you master these skills, self-control skills, particularly your anger, once you master your anger, once you get hold of your anger, you want to stop it. You want to stop getting angry altogether. You want to eliminate it out of your life, and it's possible. It's not difficult. You need to change your attitude. You need to change this stupid fiction in your head about who you are, how everything and everybody else is out here to hurt you, to annoy you, to do things you tell them not to do, to sort of, wow. So much rubbish you put on it, but so much sort of you know, wood and things that you put on the fire, so it just goes up, goes up, goes up all the time instead of extinguishing it. And you can do that. You can extinguish this fire of anger, extinguish it totally, put it out, put out this fire altogether. What I suggest that you start with is with those exercises I show very often. So just go into one of my previous videos, you know, how to get in touch with yourself, how to find your true self and stuff like that. When you just start, you know, taking a little bit of time out, maybe a few minutes a day, a few times a day, just to get in touch with yourself, as I call your true self, this beautiful peace and emptiness inside here where there is just nothing, you know. Where you can sit and observe your thoughts, and whatever those thoughts cause, whatever feelings they cause, you can just observe it. They come and they go, and they come and they go, and do it. Sit with yourself for a few minutes every day. Find a quiet spot. Take a few minutes out. And once you become familiar with this deeper level of yourself, your true self, and once you learn to rest in it and just observe the thoughts and just, you know, attach to the ones that benefit you, and to create your own thoughts that benefit you, and just, you know, leave everything else as is. It's nothing to do with you. It doesn't bother you. It just floats around. Once you start doing that, you will be able to go there more and more often. You will find a certain peace with yourself, with everything, with certain emptiness that is full of compassion, love, tenderness, understanding of everything that is on a level that is not the mind, that is not the thought, it is a much deeper level. And you will be able to, you know, find some space between yourself and your thoughts, between yourself and your feelings, between yourself and your emotions. And you will become more and more in control. You will be able to change your thoughts. You will be able to change your attitude towards the way you see things. Because you see, most of our life is a fiction. It's up here. It's the way we see things that could be totally wrong. But whether it's right or wrong, it's really not such a big question. It needs to be beneficial to you and to your life, so you can live your life with a peace of mind, with enjoyment, with some sort of a gratitude. Bliss, even. So, you know, you can stop getting angry relatively quickly. Start doing this exercise, follow my videos. There are some programs also underneath the videos that I recommend. You can use that too to help you. And, you know, browse through YouTube videos. There are so many, I wouldn't say so many, but there are some other people out there from some Indian sort of gurus like Sadhguru or Mooji or Papaji or David Snyder in the Western sort of culture, even Igor Ledachovsky as a hypnotherapist, and there are people out there who can sort of, you know, just nudge you a little bit in the right direction, or open your mind to viewing the world differently, viewing yourself and everything else differently, and all these nonsense things like anger and all these you know, feelings and emotions that will overwhelm you and that sort of run your life will drop off totally. So it's everything to look forward to. Talk to you soon.